Who did you normally bring on these flights? I assume, employees of the foundation.
I think it was on one of these trips, I think, that I had my first trip for the man who's now the governor of Illinois, Jeffrey Pritzker, and his wife.
All right. So after that deposition on Friday, some waves here. Former President Bill Clinton saying Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker was traveling with him on Jeffrey Epstein's plane during Clinton's deposition. While the former president and his charitable foundation says he misspoke during the deposition, some Republicans aren't buying it. The Illinois GOP saying in a statement, quote, "This revelation comes just days after J.B. Pritzker disavowed his cousin, Tom Pritzker, for his close contact with Jeffrey Epstein, even after he was convicted of procuring a minor for prostitution." Governor Pritzker says this whole thing is becoming a distraction.
It's a wag the dog. Let's, look over here, look over here. Don't look at the leader of their party, the leader of this country, who is a Republican, Donald Trump, who clearly is somebody that needs to be investigated.
Joining us now, investigative reporter Ben Bradley from our Chicago station. He is following this story closely. Ben, good morning to you. What relationship does or did Pritzker have with Clinton and the Clinton Foundation?
Well, J.B. Pritzker's relationship with the Clintons goes back to the early days of Hillary Clinton's national political aspirations. J.B. Pritzker has been a close confidant of Hillary Clinton and, in fact, was a big donor to many of her campaigns. So it's not surprising that after President Clinton left office and he was setting up the Clinton Foundation, that they would once again turn to Pritzker, who was a private citizen at the time, and say, hey, do you want to learn more about our work? It was on one of those trips. They took two trips together, according to Governor Pritzker. Neither of them were on Epstein's plane. Pritzker said he's never met Epstein, never met Ghislaine Maxwell, which is why when that deposition was released, it set off so many alarm bells here in Chicago, and reporters like me started digging into it. And the reality is, Marni, that J.B. Pritzker is not mentioned on any of the Epstein flight logs. If you search the Epstein files, his name comes up 4 times, and that's only because his name was mentioned in news articles that were emailed around. And so for Republicans, including the Illinois Republican Party, to jump on this and claim that they're more interested in Governor Pritzker's association than, say, members of their own party was a bit surprising, and it's why we fact-checked it.
Mentioned the cousin a moment ago. So Pritzker is denying any relationship with Epstein. But beyond that, his family, are there ties to Epstein and his associates like Ghislaine Maxwell?
Absolutely. Governor Pritzker's cousin, Tom Pritzker, was a close associate of Jeffrey Epstein, and that relationship continued even after Epstein was outed as a child predator. And Tom Pritzker resigned from his position on the Hyatt board. The Hyatt hotel franchise is where the Pritzker money comes from. Governor Pritzker hasn't had a role in Hyatt in many years. But yeah, Tom Pritzker, the governor's cousin, did have to step aside when his ties to Epstein became public.
Longer term here, Ben, it is rumored that Pritzker is looking at a presidential run. How might this impact the conversation, or at least his political strategy, as he looks to put this fire out?
That is what has, to me, Marni, been so bizarre about all of the conversations surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, is that each side is willing to try to tar their opponent with ties to Epstein, but shows a genuine lack of curiosity about a member of their own party's association with Epstein. And that's exactly what happened when the Clinton deposition came out. And if you look at that Clinton deposition, the questioning was toggling back and forth between Clinton's flights with Epstein and Clinton's broader work with the Clinton Foundation. And the question was not artfully phrased. The question was, so who went with you typically on those flights? And Clinton's answer was, well, foundation people and people we were trying to recruit for support. So you can kind of see why there's confusion. I guess it just depends on whose answer you believe. But the the information, the flight logs, the Epstein files don't really show any connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Governor J.B. Pritzker.
And yet, despite that denial, it's still part of the conversation. Ben Bradley, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.